Okay, ladies, today we're doing an activity studying the periodic trend of electronegativity, ionization energy, and atomic radius. For our example, we are only going to study the trend of electronegativity. Your materials, you're going to have a bag that has straws in it labeled electronegativity. I've already gotten the straws out. You're going to have a chart that has values for each trend that correspond to an element. And these values are actually representing the length of the straw. So each straw has a centimeter length that corresponds to that element. And I'm going to give you a copy of a periodic table, and you're going to have a micro well plate. This is a micro well plate with lots of little holes in it. And underneath the micro well plate, I've got a template for you, and it's got elements of the periodic table, and they're in order. I did not put the transition metals, though, because their trend is very inconsistent. So we're only looking at groups 1 and 2, the S block elements, and the P block elements here, groups 13 through 18. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is from your bag of straws, you're going to take your straws out, and what's going to help you is if you try to line them up in size from increasing to decreasing, because what you're going to find here is that you have a lot of straws that have very similar lengths. So this could get very frustrating, and I want to save you some frustration and make this go a little smoother. So once you kind of get them lined up from greatest to smallest, take a ruler and start measuring, maybe from the outside, take a few from each end. Maybe you want to start with the largest. And remember, you're measuring in centimeters. And this measures between 19 and a half and 20. It's close to 20, but it's not quite 20. Now, here was my dilemma. That was the largest straw in the pack, so I really couldn't cut it down. So if you look on your chart and you find the value 20, in this case, this straw ended up being 19 and a half, but it was the closest one to 20 that we had. Mark with a pencil, mark that element, scratch it off or put a check mark, and you're going to place that straw in the hole in the micro well plate that corresponds to that element, which in this case is fluorine. And now you're going to do another straw. And this one measures, is it 17 and a half? 17 and a half. So go to your chart under electronegativity. You find the 17 and a half. It corresponds to oxygen, and mark it off. And then you're going to put that straw in the hole that corresponds to oxygen. Now, you're going to do this for every straw in the bag. You've got 32 straws. Now, some of these are very similar lengths, and I tried my best to cut these down to exact size, but some of them are not exact sizes. They might be off by a centimeter or two. So what you need to remember is for this activity, we are looking at an overall trend. So don't get too frustrated if a measurement doesn't match up exactly. But the important thing is that as you're crossing off elements on your list, you will know what you've already used up. When you are finished, I am going to have some colored tabs for you to use. And I want you to stick a colored tab. I don't have the tabs now, but in your activity, you will put a colored tab at each corner. You've got 4 corners that you'll have. You'll put a colored tab at the top of the straw at each corner of your grid. So you'll have 4 straws that have a colored tab. Now, these colored tabs are going to correspond to what trend you're studying, okay? So electronegativity will be green, ionization energy will be indigo, and atomic radius will be red. So when you're finished putting your model together and your colored tabs, I want you to take the label for that trend and sit it in front of the model and take a picture with your device. That is your visual to help you remember what the trend is for that particular property. Okay? Have fun and good luck.